Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into the world of AWS data migration. We're going to tackle two really common but really tricky problems. First, what do you do when your data is just way too big to upload? And second, how on earth do you migrate a critical system without even a second of downtime? So let's just frame this whole conversation with one big question. How do you move a petabyte? I mean, that's 1,000 terabytes. You're just not going to upload that over your standard internet connection. The math doesn't even come close to working out. It would literally take years. You know, moving your data to the cloud is not a simple drag and drop, not at all. Pretty much every organization runs into two huge hurdles: the sheer scale of the data they have and the absolute need to avoid downtime for their most important systems. If you get either of those wrong, you're looking at a world of trouble. We're talking lost time, lost money, and maybe worst of all, lost customer trust. Okay, so for those two massive problems, AWS has two very specific, very powerful solutions. For the scale problem, there's AWS Snowball. And to get rid of downtime, we're going to look at the AWS Database Migration Service, or as everyone calls it, DMS. All right, first up, let's talk about scale. Just imagine you have petabytes of data. That's millions of gigabytes. Maybe it's years of company archives, scientific research, video footage. Your internet connection just isn't going to cut it. So what do you do when that digital highway is completely gridlocked? Well, the answer, and this is the cool part, is to go physical. AWS Snowball is basically a super rugged, high-tech, and incredibly secure suitcase for your data. And yes, you heard that right. To solve a massive digital bottleneck, AWS will literally ship you a physical box. This is the tool you reach for when the numbers just don't add up. If uploading your data is going to take weeks, maybe even months, or you're just in a place with bad bandwidth, Snowball completely bypasses the internet. It's also perfect for times when you absolutely need a physically secure, trackable chain of custody for your data. And the process itself? It's actually super simple. You just order the Snowball device from your AWS console, it shows up at your door, you plug it into your network, and you load up your data. Then an e-ink shipping label on the device automatically updates, and you just ship it back. From there, AWS takes over and uploads everything directly into your cloud storage. Now, it's really important to get this. This isn't just some hard drive in a cardboard box. Oh no. The Snowball device is a fortress for your data. It's totally tamper-resistant, it uses really strong end-to-end encryption, and it's tracked by GPS every single step of the way. So your data is completely protected on its entire physical journey. So Snowball is a brilliant solution for the scale problem. But what about that other huge hurdle, downtime? I mean, think about the databases that run your business, your e-commerce store, your customer records, your inventory. You can't just switch those off for a week to move the data. That would kill your business. This is the exact scenario that the AWS Database Migration Service, or DMS, was built for. It's a managed service designed specifically to move live, working databases into the cloud without disrupting any of the applications that rely on them. The real magic behind DMS is something called real-time replication. So here's how it works. DMS starts by making a full copy of your database and moves it to the cloud. But then it keeps watching your original database and continuously syncs any and all changes over to the new cloud version in real time. Your old system just keeps running smoothly until you're ready to flip the switch. And DMS is incredibly flexible. It can handle what are called homogeneous migrations. That's just a fancy way of saying you're moving from one database to the same kind of database, like Oracle on-premise to Oracle in AWS, a simple like-for-like move. But it also handles complex heterogeneous migrations. And this is where it gets really powerful, because it can actually convert your database from one engine to another, like moving from an old-school SQL server to a modern cloud database like Amazon Aurora. This table really just lays it all out, doesn't it? Snowball is for your massive, one-time, offline data dumps where physical security is everything. Think of it like a giant moving truck for your data. DMS, on the other hand, is for the continuous, live syncing of active databases, where that real-time replication is the star of the show. It's less of a moving truck and more like a perfect, live mirror of your system. So we've covered the what and the how, but now let's get to the why. Where do these services actually make a difference for businesses out there in the real world? Well, for starters, companies use Snowball to finally migrate years of old backups that would be practically impossible to upload. It's also used all the time to securely move huge healthcare datasets, where that physical chain of custody is an absolute must for regulations. Meanwhile, DMS is the engine that powers so many database modernization projects, letting companies finally break free from their old legacy systems and move to the cloud, all without taking their critical apps offline for even a minute. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're shipping a petabyte in a box with Snowball or replicating a live database with DMS. Both of these services are all about one thing: enabling a smarter, safer, and faster way to get your most valuable asset, your data, into the cloud. So the big takeaway here is this: a successful migration always starts by figuring out what your actual problem is. Is your main challenge just the overwhelming scale of your data? That is a job for Snowball. Is your main challenge avoiding any downtime for a live system? That is exactly what DMS was built to do. So there you have it. You now know the tools to get over the two biggest hurdles in any cloud migration. It's really no longer a question of if you can move your data, but how you're going to do it. Whether you're staring at a mountain of old data or a mission-critical live database, there's a path forward. The only real question left is, what's your migration strategy going to be?